All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. All right, I'm your quarter host, the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing, Coach Williams. That way to my left, the Austin 316 of talking football, the hardest hitting ever, Pando 316. What's good, man?
I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a slugfest up in here because we're talking about the NFC East, and there's more hate combined in this one division in the entire NFL. So let's go ahead and get started because it's about to be a slobber knocker.
Hoo-hoo, let's go. Down below,
awesome.
Commanders fan represent the NFC East. Trish TV, the quarterback that runs this whole thing, was good. And then, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, we are talking about the NFC East. We have a special guest, Nati. I've been on his show about 4 or 5 times called DMV Sports Zone. Y'all can follow him on Twitter, DMV Sports Zone, Instagram, DMV Sports Zone, and he has a YouTube channel called DMV Sports Zone. They cover all things DC, Commanders, Mystics, Capitals, Wizards, Nationals. Thank you. Goodness gracious. I'm from around here. I should know. What's good, man? Nati, hey, yo, plug your stuff in real quick, man.
Yes, sir. So you can follow us on all those platforms. I apologize. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, but I had to make it for you guys. This is going to be a great stream. I know it's been a minute since Brandon and I have had our back and forth, so it should be fun. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
All right. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to rank each team. As if you've been following our series, we covered the NFC South, AFC South, and last week we did AFC East. Like I said, we're doing the NFCs this week. We're going to rank the teams, no records, and we're going to give out reasons why. Pando, you have the least amount of what I want to say.
Sense?
No. I don't want to say strings attached. There's another phrase for it, but
I ain't got a dog in the fight. That's what we say.
You ain't got a dog in the fight. So I'm gonna let you go first. And who you got going fourth place?
I think we all got the same team in fourth place.
Actually, I don't know.
My fourth place team is the New York Giants.
Uh-oh.
And here's why.
Okay.
I don't trust Daniel Jones. I understand that they're a better coach team than they were in the past. Last year, it was a phenomenal coaching job, but they don't have an alpha dog wide receiver. There's some decision making at quarterback that is. Kevin Cherry, thanks for tuning in. We talking about your division tonight, man. But I think outside of Saquon Barkley, I don't see a whole lot of offensive firepower with this team. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in comparison to the other two teams in this division, I'm not ready to say, oh yeah, there's nothing that's gonna make me say, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying about this team, and I just, So I with the firepower that the Eagles have and the firepower that the Cowboys have and how well the Redskins were playing last year, Commanders were playing last year. I don't see the Giants And I could be wrong. When this is all said and done, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't see them winning the division. You know, a best case scenario, they might be third. But as of right now, I'm going my better judgment. I'm going to say fourth. So they're the fourth place team in this division, in my opinion.
All right. So for me, I too have the Giants. And the reason why I have the Giants is a lot of what you said now. What I will say is this. I do like the fact that they added tight end Darren Waller via trade. I like the cornerback they drafted in the first round. I believe it was Deontay Banks from Maryland. Um, I like the linebacker they added from the coast. Now I forgot his name, but he was a Matt Eberfluss draft pick. And if you know how, if you've been listening to us long enough, you know how I feel about Matt Eberfluss and linebackers.
That's your boy, I know.
Yes, yes, 100%. However, like you said, Pando, quarterback is still Daniel Jones. Wide receivers group still shaking. And honestly, the offense line still shaking too. I mean, they got a good left tackle, well, decent left tackle, and Andrew Thomas, but right tackle, he's going to really step up this year compared to how he looked last year. And you got to deal with Washington's pass rush, Dallas's pass rush, Philadelphia's pass rush, just within the division. Just within the division. And I didn't even do the other divisions we played this year. But anyway, so and I think what's his name? The offense coordinator Brian Dable got the most out of Daniel Jones. I think he maxed out Daniel Jones, and I think that's going to really be exposed even more this year. So Giants, fourth place for me. Like I said, they got a little bit better on defense, but still the same quarterback. Nati, you want to go?
Sure. I waffle back and forth between the Giants and the Commanders last place. It depends on the day. Yesterday, I'm going to tell you Commanders. Today, I'm telling you Giants. I think you guys have talked about the Giants' weaknesses right now. Brian Dable, he's the reason why some days I consider the Giants being the third best team in this division instead of the fourth. I think he coached that team to not just the playoffs, to a playoff win. A playoff win. Like, I haven't seen a playoff win as a fan of this Commanders team in my entire life in terms of being a fan of this team. Yes, they won, I believe, in 2007, but I wasn't old enough to really comprehend what was going on. A playoff win. Like that's and they were what, the lower seed as well, or the lower record team as well in that matchup. So I got to give the Giants props. And also another thing I got to give the Giants props on. They beat us once and they tied us. They did not lose to us at all last season. So until we can beat them, it's gonna give me a lot of reluctance in saying that the Commanders are the third best team in this division. But right now, they don't have a lot of offensive skill power right now. They have Saquon Barkley. Their starting receivers, I mean, none of them would be wide receiver one on the Commanders right now because we have a Terry McLaurin and we have a Jahan Dotson as well. Their running backs, again, Saquon, but tight end, Darren Waller, but he's regressed last couple of years. Yeah, I just don't see that much talent on the Giants. Their defensive line at least should be really good, but Commanders, I think we have them on our offense of talent, and then we have them on our defense. But it all depends on Sam Howell and what we see out of him, but I think we should be good.
Yeah, I like and now I do like the Giants defensive coordinator, and Wink Martindale's his name. He did a good job running that defense. T, you got anything, man?
Similar reasons I got the Giants in last. I think Dabo coached up the team and not really had any star power other than Saquon Barkley. I do think Daniel Jones has a limit. I think the best of him is what we saw last year. I don't know if it could be any better. Maybe a couple more touchdowns here and there, but not much better than what we've seen. Saquon is the focal point of that offense and makes that thing go. But I'm also with Natty. It definitely waffle. If you were to ask me this morning, I probably would have put the Commanders last. then you asked me this afternoon, it was the Giants, and it waffles because, um, as we know, quarterback is what makes the league go, and we have the biggest question mark at quarterback in the division. But with the Giants, I just think that the lack of talent plus Daniel Jones being about average to below average QB is just what would keep them at fourth.
Yeah, those are all great points, man. Giants. Another team the Giants play this year is New Orleans, and I just don't see them beating New Orleans. So that's going to really not help their situation now at all. Um, Washington, and we can go talk third place since we all feel the same way about Washington. You know, like you said, 1 minute is Washington, next minute is New York being in fourth or third place. Washington, granted, now Tristan, you brought a good point saying, "Hey, we got the biggest question mark at quarterback." However, you guys have the better group of weapons altogether, and I think with Eric Bieniemy, he's gonna be able to put something together. I think all Sam Howell has to do is get the ball to the right player at the right time, and I think that will help elevate your offense even more this year. I'm not saying your offense is gonna be top 10 or anything like that, but it's gonna be enough to elevate yourself keep yourself over the Giants. If I let me say that. Defensively, you have a great defensive line. It's interesting to see what's going to happen with Chase Young because the rumors out that Chase Young could be on the trade market depending on what Washington can give for him.
Not today, though. Not today.
Well, of course,
there,
I mean,
there are rumors. There are rumors that because of how Chase Young has looked out there on the practice field and showing his old burst, Washington might not be interested in trading him after all. Brandon, you might remember this. I haven't been a Chase Young fan. He had 1.5 sacks through 9 games before he got injured in 2021. He already showed that he was not the generational talent that we were looking for coming out of the draft. Even his rookie year, a lot of people forget, Washington Post, there was an article already calling Chase Young a bust around Thanksgiving time. And then he started to turn things on last month of the season. I'm not saying he can't turn it on this season. He's only 24 years old. He might have he might be more motivated this year as well, given that he doesn't have a contract after this year in Washington, at least to date. But I mean, you're talking to the wrong person if you think I think that Chase Young is gonna have a monster season. He's gonna, I want him to. I'm rooting for it. He's a DMV product. He's from the area. I was super ecstatic when we got him second overall. But I can't really say that right now, given what we've seen from him last, even when fully healthy. Again, 1.5 sacks through 9 games. I'm talking about before the injury, not the last 3 games last year.
And I get it. And Steve, who's another
I was about to tell Steve, boy. Steve was here. He'd be pounding the table. See, I told you that's what Steve would be doing.
Yeah, you see, just what I was going to say, Steve, who's a Cowboys fan, another host on the show, he's never been a fan of Chase Young either. And his thing was, hey, when he was in college, he didn't really compete against too many good offensive tackles. The only offensive tackle he competed against was Rashawn Slater, who shut him down. And then Chase Young, Rashawn Slater's rookie year, which was Chase Young's second year, when it was the Chargers versus Commanders, Chase Young lined up against Rashawn Slater. Slater shut him down again. They had to flip Chase Young over to the other side. He went against Brian Bulaga. Bulaga handled him, and then Bulaga got hurt. And so Chargers had a swing tackle out there, and that's when Chase Young started doing well against the Chargers when the swing tackle was out there. So, and me, I'm a Cowboys fan, but what I try to do is I try to be patient with players. I try to give them a chance. Everybody brings up great points about Chase Young, but he hasn't really done what he's supposed to have done by now, being the number 2 overall pick. Linebacker core, Jamin Davis is good, but he's a good outside guy. He's not an inside guy. DBs. Manuel Mosley. We'll see what that's going to look like, and then you got a good,
DBs?
huh?
Brandon, DBs. This might sneakily be one of the best groups, if not the best in the NFC East right now. We're talking about
Best
Kendall. Okay,
groups?
Kendall Fuller. DB groups. My bad.
DB
Kendall
groups
Fuller.
overall.
Emmanuel
So,
Forbes.
so whoa, we talking.
I'm not saying it
safety?
is. Hold on, Brandon. Hold on. I'm
We
not
talking
saying
corner
it
and
is.
hold on. Time out. Corner and safety, or just corner?
Yes, corner and safety. I'm
Go
not
ahead.
saying we're the best overall. Obviously, the Eagles have freaking Darius Slade, James Bradbury, and you name it at safety. The Cowboys have freaking
Eagles don't have
Trevon
no
Diggs, although he
safeties.
can get.
Who they got safety? Who they got
And
safety?
Washington, Cam Curl.
No, I'm talking about Philadelphia.
No, the
Oh,
Eagles.
Philadelphia. Oh, the Eagles. I'm not. Yeah,
But-
I don't really. Their safeties don't impress me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Philadelphia.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
He's
But you're
gone. He's
adding
a
to
deep
my
threat.
Chauncey
point, though.
Gardner-Johnson leaving really that was a major blow to that secondary.
And I thought they lost the other safety too, if I'm not mistaken. Or if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But they got two corners and they drafted Ringo, but there might have been a reason why Ringo fell all the way down as far as he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think Philadelphia has the best DB room in the division anymore.
Yeah. But I still
got-
what I said. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Just real quick. If I and just in division alone, DB room, I got Washington at 2, Dallas at 1. Go.
Washington at 2, Dallas at 1. I'll still take. Yeah. No, I'll say it with my chest. I'll still take the Commanders DB room right now over the Cowboys DB room. Yes, we have Kendall Fuller. We have Emmanuel Forbes, who is a ball hawk. We have freaking Quan Martin, who we drafted as a nickel.
I give you that one.
You're completely forgetting our safeties right now. Cam Curl.
Okay, I know
He's-
Cam Curl. I know
he's
Cam
good.
Curl.
Derek
But
Forrest.
here's my
I
take on
think
it.
4 picks last year.
I give you Cam Curl.
Here's my take on Emmanuel Forbes. And
You're
y'all
not gonna
know
give me
what I'm
Derek Forrest.
No, I'm not giving you Manny Force. You want to take one? Because hold on.
Hold on. Let me get this one. Let me get this one. Let me
Go
get
ahead,
this one.
Pando. Go ahead. But
Okay, first thing
I'm gonna
first.
piggyback right off of you. Go ahead.
And I love Jartavius Martin. He's one of my all-time favorite guys in this year's draft coming out. I wanted him to play for my team because he's so versatile. Okay. Emmanuel Forbes. The thing about Emmanuel Forbes and Jartavius Martin is one thing, and it's one thing you're leaving out. They rookies. So I will never count a rookie and then say that we have a great group and you're gonna have 2 rookies starting in that group. Now, until they prove me wrong, I'm gonna stand on that because there's gonna be mistakes made as opposed to a veteran group who has played NFL downs before. Now, let me hone in on Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes is a $150 soaking wet with a pocket full of quarters.
Okay, how much is what? How much
he's already 175.
Okay,
175
before the season starts.
180.
175. He could be 180.
Natty.
There are plenty of quarterbacks that play at 180.
Natty.
Brandon, tell the man who Emmanuel Forbes going to have to tackle this year.
Wait.
Who he going to tackle? Go down the schedule. Who Emmanuel Forbes about to tackle? Because one of the biggest knocks I had on him was his lack of physicality at Mississippi State.
But Pando, you're forgetting we also have Benjamin St. Juste as well, who did a lot of great things last year, who's been doing a lot of great things. He's had concussions, he's been out. Huh?
St. Juste is great.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
So that's 2 corners.
I didn't even mention him at the beginning.
Emmanuel Forbes is this damn big.
That's what I'm holding up to stand.
He doesn't need to be that press guy.
I'm gonna keep that in mind when he got to tackle Deebo Samuel. When he got to tackle AJ Brown, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Okay.
When he get face planted, when he gets drugged, when he's trying to get a man press against those guys,
when he gets
that didn't happen in the SEC.
When he gets bench press,
that didn't happen in the SEC. Best conference of football.
Okay.
That didn't happen in the SEC.
You can sit up and talk about how much weight he put on, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Pando 316 about to prove you wrong, son.
Okay.
If he puts on more weight, he's gonna lose speed. He's gonna lose speed.
You think so?
So you can't win either way. Either he's gonna be too small.
I'm hearing all this.
About playing a 17 game schedule because they don't play 17 game schedules in the SEC against top-notch opponents every week. You still got to play
man.
You still got to play garbage team.
SEC was grown men too.
If he puts
SEC was grown men too.
He's gonna get slower.
SEC was grown men too.
There's a difference between NFL peanut butter and college football peanut butter.
Come on,
But it's
Brandon.
the best. It's the best pipeline if
I
you want to be in the
understand that. I
NFL.
And I
understand that.
don't
but-
disagree
That's
with
mine.
that.
but
I don't
understand
disagree with that,
understand
Natty. I
I
don't
understand
disagree
that.
with that. It
But
still ain't the NFL.
and thank you. And guess what? Georgia is not going to be Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Who?
I'm
who
gonna
But-
tell you.
hey,
And,
hey,
and,
hey.
and
Hold
you
on,
know
wait,
what?
wait.
I'll be the first one to come on here if he goes and balls out and he plays physical and throws his head in the play and he lasts all season long and he balls out. I'll be the
They have a long
first
career.
person to come
Give
on
me
here
a
and say,
long
I
career.
was wrong.
Give
I
me a
didn't.
long
Well, hold
career.
on. I'm not
Give me
saying
a
he's
long
gonna be a
career.
superstar in his first year. All I'm saying is that he's gonna hold his own. He's gonna be a good starter for us this year. He's going to be worth the investment, and you'll see. You'll
Okay.
see.
They rookies.
Emmanuel
Okay.
Forbes is skinny.
They're
He's,
rookies.
he's going to go up
Okay.
against Debo Samuels, AJ Brown, and DK Metcalf this season.
Oh my God, I forgot about DK Metcalf, the incredible bulk.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Why does he have to be the one that covers DK when we have a Kendall Fuller and a
he's
Benjamin
sorry,
St. Juste?
Jamal now. Okay. Kendall Fuller don't do too hot in his doggone self against
What
those
about Benjamin
guys.
St. Juste?
What scheme do y'all run in Washington?
In terms of defense,
Yeah, you want man or zone?
More man or more
zone.
zone?
Huh?
a little bit more zone, which
Okay, so
suits
so a zone.
Forbes.
Are you middle field open, middle field closed?
I don't know. You tell me.
Middle field's open.
Okay, so too high. So that means
Yep.
that means you run a lot of cover 2, cover 4 type stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so in cover 2, if you run a traditional cover 2, Forbes might do well just because. Well, yes and no. He might handle quick routes into the flats, but if you asking Forbes to tackle in the flats,
That's
He
what I'm talking
tackled the SEC.
if he's sitting in it, the SEC
what
is
he's talking
not
about.
the NFL.
He tackled in the SEC at
SEC
166. That is my point. He tackled in the SEC at 166.
The
He's putting on
SEC.
pounds right now.
Hey man, I don't know who you're trying to fool, but we watch film too. He held on for dear life. He ain't tackling nobody. He held on for dear damn life.
Natty, there's
Hold
a
on,
difference
stop.
Hearing all
between
this-
grown
hearing all
man
this-
Come
strength.
help me.
Grown
He ain't no
man
physical
strength.
corner, dog. Stop the cap.
Grown man
What
strength.
is this? Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
All right.
Stop it right now.
All right.
Stop it right now. Stop trying to make him into something he ain't. Now, if you
He's
would
a-
come
he's
on
gonna
here,
be
you
a
would
good
say
corner for
he's
us.
a ball
I
hawk.
started-
He gets interceptions.
Kendall, I
He
started
does
off
this.
by saying he's a ball hawk. That's what I started off by saying.
Okay,
when I
Yes,
listed
yes,
off
I'll
yes,
the
give
he's
you
a
that.
ball. I give
gonna
you
give you
that.
that.
But he's not gonna
I'ma
be able
give
to
you
do
that.
all that stuff in the NFL.
Why
I'm
not?
gonna give you that.
It's already translated into practice. Why not
That's
on
practice.
the field?
Remember how many Super Bowl
How
wins
many-
was won in
Okay.
practice?
Okay. But
Because
I
I've
know a
seen
lot of
guys
guys
practice
that,
well and be trash on the field. I've seen it a whole lot of years.
but I know a lot of guys who are good in practice and great on the field too.
I understand that. I understand that, but I'm gonna tell you something too.
He's a
A
rookie.
piece of paper doesn't win the Super Bowl.
I'm just waiting on my
You
turn.
said what?
Go ahead. Sorry,
Go ahead,
Tristan, go ahead.
Tristan. We're not gonna let y'all the hook for him, man.
Yep, y'all done.
We not.
He's
Yeah,
gonna be
go
a
ahead,
good
go ahead.
corner. I don't know why that's controversial.
Wait, hold on, Tristan, before you get started. I'm gonna answer that question.
Let him go.
Let me answer that
Let him
question.
go.
No. I'm about to answer that question. You picked Emmanuel Forbes when Christian Gonzalez was still on the board.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tristan.
Forbes is gonna be the better player. Just watch.
And I'm done.
Forbes is gonna be the better player.
Okay.
You serious?
I'll wait.
Why not? Why not?
I'm gonna dance with you in the moonlight, son.
Why not?
Pando,
What gives us
Pando,
evidence?
Pando,
What
Pando.
gives us evidence to support whether he's going to be the better player or not be the better player? In my opinion, what Christian Gonzalez gives you as a press corner, Forbes gives you as a ball hawk. Like they could be two different types of players and still be equally, if not,
Your
Forbes
best
being better.
ability is
I
your
don't-
versatility. Christian Gonzalez is good at all of it. Forbes is only
really?
good at one thing. I don't know what film you've been looking at. I've been looking at.
I've been looking at his coverage grades last year. I've been looking at a lot of stuff.
You and Ray
And-
Charles been looking at film.
All right, come on.
You and Stevie Wonder. You and Clarence Carter.
Pando.
All right.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Pando.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one more thing? One more thing. I got Pando. I'm gonna be honest here. Last year, I was one of those Commanders fans who was never for Carson Wentz being quarterback in DC, right? And
That
one
is
of the
true.
critiques when I kept saying that, and when I kept saying that Jalen Hurts is going to be a much better player, and I said Jalen Hurts could be an MVP type candidate with AJ Brown being on that Eagles team, much like a Stephon Diggs was for Josh Allen, right, in
That's
Buffalo.
fair.
The
That's
critique was, you don't watch film. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Carson Wentz is just a better, pure, talented pass. That was the critique. Like that was the critique. So all I'm saying is I might not be the most avid film watcher, but what I've seen from Emmanuel Forbes, what I've read in reports, what I've seen or heard from him in practice, what I've seen from him as a ball hawk, completely discrediting that. And all I'm saying is that could be the difference between a win and a loss in a game. And that's all that matters. He might not be top 10 worthy, top 15 worthy, first round pick. But if he's a difference maker for us and generates turnovers, that's good enough, in my opinion. Look at Trevon Diggs. Terrible in coverage, but
I had a broken wristwatch once, and it was right twice a day. I'm not saying because you was right about Jalen Hurts. You were right about that. That don't mean you're gonna be right about this. And again, because I'm a man of my word, now I got a lot of integrity. I'll come on here. If Emmanuel Forbes goes off this season, I'll come on here at the end of the season.
You're putting words in my mouth. I did not say he was going to go off. I said he was going to be a solid corner for us. He was going to give us a good value, and he was going to be a playmaker and a ball hawk. That's what I said. I did not say he was going to be a superstar for us, especially year one.
Okay.
I did not say any of that.
Okay. So we hedging bets now. Okay.
All right.
But if he winds up being a solid player,
yeah,
and makes a difference,
could be better than Gonzalez. That's
Dr. Evil air quotes. If he does that, if he's better than Gonzalez, who's, by the way, in a better scheme that's going to help him be more successful, and we'll go into that later. But if he does so, I'll be the first one to come on at the end of the season and be like, hey, you know what? I was wrong about that guy, Emmanuel Forbes. Because I'm going to tell you like this. I'm not always right, but I'm more right than I'm wrong. History has proven that. Go ahead, Tristan.
All right, I can go now.
My bad. Sorry.
I just wanted to wait, so make sure my points were clear. So yes, I have Washington third. Since this is the hot topic, I'm going to jump on the defense side of the ball before I go on the offense side of the ball. I actually lean towards what Natty is saying, and the reason why I do lean towards what Natty is saying is I think for today's NFL, the prototypical corner that we look for is a big physical corner that can cover and also be great in run support and making open field tackles. That's what we expect because these wide receivers are bigger, they're faster than before. Emmanuel Forbes is more like a throwback ball hawking corner where I don't need him to make 8 tackles a game. I need him to be able to give me 4 to 5 PBUs, and if he can give me 1 or 2 interceptions, I'm cool with that. The reason why Emmanuel Forbes got drafted, because I was one of the ones, Natty, I'm telling you, so and people that watch the show, everybody knows, so I'm not being a hypocrite. I was one of the ones that gave one of the big rants about them taking him over Christian Gonzalez, because the consensus was Christian Gonzalez is the number 1 corner coming out into the league, can do everything. Hold on. Wait. Christian Gonzalez was generated as the number 1 corner that could do everything. He might have not been the master of one, but he was good at all. And at that size, again, prototypical NFL size, I'm like, okay, that's what I want. And I never thought he would have fallen to 15. Here's where I started to shift over the last couple of weeks. By having some, colleagues of mine that like Scott Abraham and Olivia Garvey that were, been at some of the camps to talk to some of these players, see some of the practices and things like that. The reason why Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera were so enamored with Emmanuel Forbes, and it wasn't just a splash in the pan, like they really did their homework, is because the scheme that Jack Del Rio wants to run is more suitable for someone like Emmanuel Forbes more than Christian Gonzalez. And based on what he's been running for Emmanuel Forbes, is proving dividends in practice. Now it is just practice, but it is proving dividends of what he's able to do. His anticipation, his ability to deceive the quarterback, albeit the quarterback is young as well, but he's also been able to do it against Jacoby. His ability to deceive the quarterback and make it disguise what he's doing in order to do some of these pass breakups. So I'm agreeing with Natty on the fact that I'm not expecting him to be all world year one. I'm not expecting him to even be the next Darryl Green. I'm not looking for none of that. But for what they want him to be, one of the issues that we had last year was we couldn't generate turnover. That was one of the bigger issues last year. So teams used to meticulously just keep clicking, until they ended up in the end zone because we were never able to generate enough turnover. Sometimes we would have a decent pass rush. If it wasn't a sack, if they got the ball off somehow, some way, our guys would either not catch the ball or just be incomplete. We never had a guy that can erase a side of a field at the way that he potentially can. This is all based on potential, but based on what I saw, and based on what I've been hearing and what I've been told, I'm a little more encouraged of what he could do, especially with the defensive line we got. You have a guy that can anticipate and disguise himself in the backfield, and we have a defensive line that can force the quarterback to make a decision before he's ready. It is a recipe for disaster. I also will say that I do believe that we have the best DB unit in the division, the unit as a whole. You can disagree, Brandon, that's fine. But when I look at your secondary, other than Trayvon Diggs, who am I scared of in your secondary? I don't have, and that's rhetorical. It's rhetorical. Let me get my point across. That's rhetorical. I don't really fear anyone in your secondary to that extent. Not to say that they're not good. It's just nobody I'm truly like, oh, I want to stay away from Trayvon Diggs, but if I stay away from Trayvon Diggs, what about him? I don't know
Go
anyone
ahead,
else.
Gilmore.
Do you see what Terry did?
Gilmore?
Yeah, you still have Gilmore.
Okay, Gilmore at this point in his career is opportunistic. I'll give you that, but even still, that's not something I'm truly at this point in his career. That's not something I'm fearful of. So I would say just for the youthfulness, for the talent being with the defensive line that we have, it would make our unit being the best overall unit. That's how I look at it. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, I'm someone that's been a strong advocate for Sam Howell. I think people need to go and look at the North Carolina film when Sam Howell actually had a team and how he performed versus how you lose two of your starting running backs, two of your wide receivers, I think three of your offensive linemen, and North Carolina didn't recruit well to bring anything for you in his last season. You look at the film when he actually had a team. All we need him to do is just basically just be a playmaker. Just give it to your guys, make them make the plays. I think we've done some work with our offensive line. I think there's more work that could be done, but I think we've done some decent work with the offensive line. Still got questions about the tight end position. I have no questions about the running back position. I have no questions about the wide receiver position. I think Eric Bieniemy will give some creative juice to the fold to be able to make this more lively. Sam Howell is deceptively athletic and deceptively has a strong arm. So I think he can surprise some people, especially early on in the season, with some of his abilities. And hopefully by the time the surprise is over, he's maturing enough to be able to be more confident in his playmaking ability within this offense. So that's why I have him at number 3. I'm not looking at these guys to be world beaters, but I do believe that there are going to be some games this season where you're going to be like, they beat that team, huh? That's crazy. Like I'm looking for those kind of Sundays where people are like, I did not expect the Commanders to win that game, but they're a sneakily talented team. And I think Emmanuel Forbes may surprise some people at his skill set. I'm not talking about pound for pound physical. He ain't gonna hit the hammer every time. I'm not expecting him to do that. But we have big corners that can provide that for us. For him, I think his playmaking ability is what's going to be the highlight for him as a corner. And I do agree. You can have two great corners and play completely different styles. So I'm interested to see how he looks on game day.
So I do have Washington for my number 3, and the question is, you got basically a pseudo rookie at quarterback. He's not a rookie, but you know, hadn't played, so he's a pseudo rookie. But the great equalizer for Washington is the fact that they have Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator, where he can get the most out of Sam Howell. The weapons are there. There's no question the weapons are there for Washington. The running game, the 1-2 punch of Gibson and named Robinson slips my mind. Thank you. That if they balance, and they will, they balance the offense, especially because you got a young quarterback. You're going to see a lot of running, but they're going to create some easy throws for him to be able to build his confidence. And I have the jury's out as far as me being with Sam Howell. I don't know if he's going to be great or if he's going to be a buzz, but most of my friends who are Washington fans feel like he's going to be the bee's knees. So with that offensive coordinator, he has no choice but to excel. The defense is it's never really gone away. It's always been a good defense. The front four of that defense, even if Chase Young is traded, I still think the front four of that defense is going to be solid, which is going to present opportunities for the young secondary. So the question is still, and I'm going to always go with this philosophy, they still have rookies in the secondary. You still have a pseudo rookie quarterback. It's a young quarterback. If Sam Howell had a couple more years under him, I would unequivocally, I would say that Washington would probably challenge for maybe the second spot in this division. But the question mark is, what is Sam Howell going to do? Even in this offense, what is he going to do? And then the youth in that secondary, which again, the great eraser for that defense is the fact that they do have a pass rush like they do, which makes life really easy for DBs. So I got Washington for my number 3 team. And I don't trust Daniel Jones. That's why I trust a pseudo rookie with Eric Bieniemy as his offensive coordinator over a veteran Daniel Jones. That's just how I feel.
All right, Nati, go ahead, and then we're gonna move on to number 2.
Quickly. Yeah. Yeah. So hold on 1 second, guys. Brandon, go ahead with your thoughts on the Commanders being third for 1 second.
Well, I already gave my reasons why I got Commanders at 3. If you got so how much you go to number 3?
Yeah, I'm good now. Sorry. Yeah. So in terms of 3, so lots to unpack, but I'm gonna do this quickly. So in terms of trying to think of an analogy for Emmanuel Forbes versus Christian Gonzalez. Obviously, this is like if both reach their absolute peak, which might not happen, probably won't happen. But like a Tyreek Hill in his prime versus a Keenan Allen in his prime. Keenan Allen probably gives you the more well-rounded receiver. He can do everything that you want out of a receiver in his prime, right? I'm not talking about the injured, riddled guy right now. Tyreek Hill, one-trick pony, I guess, right? With his speed and his ability to just run a go route and get down the field, score touchdowns. That's sort of what I was trying to think of. I know it's not perfect analogy for an Emmanuel Forbes versus a Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez might be that more all-around corner that would probably give you, that the same sort of traits that Keenan Allen gives you on the other side of the ball. But the one-trick pony that is Emmanuel Forbes, that one trick might be game-changing, might be what, again, results in wins over losses. But in terms of the Commanders, third place, I think our defense is what really takes the cake over the Giants. I think we were top 3, top 4 defense last year. I think we got better. Our first and second round pick, you could say whatever you want, went towards that secondary. I still have questions about the linebacker position, but I think it was a push move getting a Cody Barton to replace the Cole Holcomb. But I do see progression coming out of Jamin Davis. I see that defensive line being really good. Still, Chase Young potentially being an impact player. We'll see. But that defense is going to be top notch. And then on offense, I'm not one of those fans who, I guess, I don't know. I feel like I always go against the grain when it comes to the Commanders and how we feel about our quarterbacks. But I am not super, super high on Sam Howell. I have my doubts about him as well, even as a fan. He had one game and he went 11. I think it was 11 for 19. He threw a pick, which a lot of fans forget about. We keep focusing on that one long throw down the field, but he threw an ugly interception. And I'm not saying he can't be a good player for us, but I want to see what he brings on the field in his second game before making any decisions. And we have talent on offense, so I think we're third.
Okay. All right. Nati, I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your number 2.
Yeah. So if you asked me before the draft, I would have probably unfortunately said the Eagles, but we went with the Cowboys. Cowboys, yes, they added Stephon Gilmore, but Stephon Gilmore is not the same player that he was before in his peak. They added Brandon Cooks, sure, but Tony Pollard as the undisputed running back 1 over the course of an entire season, we haven't really seen that, actually. Ezekiel Elliott has been there to at least spell Pollard, but he's no longer there. I know Pollard is a great player. I'll give you that, Brandon, but I want to see him actually be the guy for a full season before making any decisions on that running back group and whether it could be spectacular this year. That defense, I think it's going to be really good. I don't think it's the Commanders level, but I think it's going to be really good. And I think really the reason why I got the Cowboys over the Commanders is Dak Prescott. You can say whatever you want about him, but he is a bona fide, top 15, top 12, top 11 quarterback in this league. I think the reason why I have them lower than the Eagles is because the Eagles freaking, I don't know how. Shout out to Chicago for letting them get Jalen Carter in the draft at number 9 overall to add to that already stacked defensive line and all that they have there. I know we'll talk about that like in terms of a first place team, but I think that's the difference between the Eagles and the Cowboys, just the talent on the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. But yeah.
Well, and since you also limited on time as well, go ahead and give me your reason why you got Philadelphia at 1.
Yeah. So I have Philadelphia at 1 because, I mean, like I know how this is gonna sound. I don't want to toot my own horn. I hate doing it. I really do. But Jalen Hurts, I mean, I hate to say it because he's on Philly. Like he's a division rival. He's on the division rival, but
you can't knock the improvement.
Exactly. And this is something some of us, a minority of us, could see. The Eagles could see it. They stuck by him. They did him right. And look what the results were last year. They made it to the Super Bowl. And I think, honestly, while, yes, they got rid of Miles Sanders, I don't think this team is much worse than last year. And I think for that reason, the Eagles are number 1. And, yeah.
All right, cool. Pando, give me your number 2.
So my number 2, by proxy, if I tell you my number 2, you know who my number 1 is.
Exactly.
My number 2 is the Dallas Cowboys, simply off of that defense. And the difference between Philly being my number 1 and Dallas being my number 2 is very simple, and it's quarterback play. On one team, you have a quarterback who's trending up and constantly improving his game. It wasn't his fault that they lost the Super Bowl. However, it is Dak's fault that they lost in the playoffs. It is Dak's fault that they lost a lot of their games this last season. And the issue is Dak, I'm not going to say he's regressing because he's a young quarterback, but Jesus, that was a horrible season. He started 12 games through 17 interceptions, I believe. I got to check the numbers on that.
Yikes.
But I mean, and just that playoff game against the Niners, he threw 2 picks, and there was a couple of opportunities where he could have thrown 2 more. So the defense, I think the defense of the Eagles and the Cowboys are pretty much what and what, but the difference, the clear difference is why I'm picking Dallas, and they're going to make the playoffs. They're still going to make the playoffs. But the clear difference why Dallas will not win this division is Dak Prescott's questionable decision-making under fire in big games. Yeah, he goes out and he'll throw for 300-something yards, but throw 2 picks. And those 2 picks had a defense backed up in their own territory. And I don't care how good your defense is. Eventually, you're going to break if your quarterback keep putting you in a bad position. And that's one of the things Jalen Hurts doesn't do with Philadelphia. And as far as the defection of running backs in Philadelphia, that's neither here nor there. That system, you plug and play running backs in and out. And you just added DeAndre Swift. You're not asking him to be the man or whatever. You shuffling running backs in and out. But the fact that Jalen Hurts does not cost his team games is something that cannot be taken lightly or overlooked. So, bottom line, Dallas is going to make the playoffs, but because of the questionable decision-making of Dak Prescott, they're going to be the second team in this division, get a wild card, and the Eagles win the division.
T?
Definitely got the Dallas Cowboys as number 2. Very much same reasons as Eric. I just don't trust Dak Prescott in the waning moments. I feel like if everything's clicking on all cylinders, he becomes all world. Everything is flowing right for him. But the moment that it's like you really in a bind and you need him to make a decision, it's like I don't know what goes on in his head. Now, McCarthy controlling the offense, he's going to want to run the ball more. So you're really relying on Tony Pollard and that young boy that got drafted. Deuce has the weapons. Deuce Vaughn, yeah. Weapons are there. I think CD will improve. I think the tight end spot will be fine. So you have no reason to not be like a top 10, top 7 offense. As much as I said about the secondary, I really don't fear it that much. But the overall defensive unit is nothing to sneeze at. I think Dan Quinn returning as a D coordinator was that was probably to me that was the biggest win for the offseason for the Dallas Cowboys was Dan Quinn returning because I was certain he was gone.
Hey, you're not the only one.
He'll be gone after this season. He'll be gone after this season.
Yep.
That was a huge win. I heard that they're trying to possibly make Micah. They're going to try him in different spots, but primarily he's going to be rushing, which that's the bread and butter for him. But he's good at a lot of different spots, so he's definitely that Swiss Army knife. But that for those reasons, really with Dak, I just don't trust I don't trust what he sees when the team needs him to be great. He just doesn't live up to it. We see flashes, but it's not consistent, and so that's what's going to hold. I think he holds the team back a bit. I wouldn't have said that a few years ago, but just last couple of years, yeah, I think he holds the team back for sure.
Okay. I have Philadelphia number 2.
Of course.
No, give me a second. Okay. I think Philadelphia took some steps back on defense. I think them losing Charles Gardner-Johnson as safety hurts. They lost 2 linebackers on defense. Okay. They have a couple of defensive linemen that gotten older. I know they drafted Jalen Carter. I think he'll be a good player, but I'm not sold on Carter as much as a lot of people are. Okay. Their secondary to me is overrated because, like I said, pre-show that Taylor Heineke carved them up, those 2 corners, and so did Dak Prescott carve up those 2 corners. Okay, hey, it is what it is. You ain't gotta like it. No one ain't gotta like it, and that's fine.
What's Bart Simpson' daddy name?
Okay. And I hear you. Also, the NFL did them no favors when it comes to schedule. They play Buffalo, San Francisco, and Dallas back-to-back weeks. Did Philadelphia no favors. And then after a bye week, they got to travel to Kansas City. So Philadelphia is going to be hurt, not just the losses on defense, but also by schedule. Okay? So, like I said, no one got like my pick of Philadelphia number 2. That's fine because I'm the type of person I will stand on the mountain by myself, 10 toes down, chest out, and I don't care. I think Dak Prescott had a bad season, yes. Okay. Now, to me, I think that's more of a blip than a trend. Because Dak Prescott prior to that was not a high interception volume guy. Plus, some of those interceptions was because the players dropped the football and end up in defenders' hands. So, I mean, that's fine. Go back and check the tape. That's exactly what happened. All right, T. But yeah, I think between schedule and I think with the losses of Philadelphia of some of those players on defense, I think Philadelphia takes a step back. And like I said, I don't care what anybody say.
We know you
Dallas got better. Traded for Brandon Cooks, adding a speed threat of receiver. Trading for Stephon Gilmore. Gilmore ain't got to be who he used to be, but that's probably one of the best number 2 corners in the NFL. Plus, DeRon Bland, as a rookie last year, coming into the last minute, gets 5 interceptions. And we have the best group of safeties in the league with Hooker, Curse, and Wilson. And we dropped Demarcus Smith to help improve the run game. Okay, that's fine. You ain't got to like it. Like I said, no one ain't got to like nothing.
What's Marge Simpson's husband's name?
Like I said, ain't no one got to like nothing.
How do you talk about the Eagles quarterbacks getting burnt and still in the same breath talk about the Cowboys quarterbacks and not mention Trevon Diggs, who's had one of the worst coverage ratings like the last 2 seasons in the entire NFL? How do you not talk about that when it comes to DBs getting burnt?
Our DB is better than yours.
Are you going to talk up his 11 picks? Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon. That was 2 years ago.
Our DB still better than yours.
Okay.
You talking about Trish talking about he don't fear our guys? I don't fear your guys either.
Okay. I definitely don't fear your guys.
I
At least the
don't fear
DB
your
room.
guys
I do
either.
fear Micah.
Dance,
Fear,
Puppets, dance.
Yeah.
I don't fear Washington secondary. Never have and
I don't
never
fear the
will.
Cowboys secondary.
Never have,
I don't
never
fear
will.
Dak. I don't fear anybody on the Cowboys but Micah. I think to you about this. Like I don't fear anybody but on the Cowboys but Micah.
That's a fair point. You take Micah Parsons off that defense, they pretty much
Like
a shell
Tank
of
Lawrence?
themselves.
Are we in 18, 17, 19?
I ain't say nothing about that. I say anything about Tank Lawrence? No, I didn't. Now
No,
I'm
no,
saying
that's
Tank
usually what people say.
Lawrence is the best run stopping defensive end in the league.
Best run stopping defensive end in the league. I'm Montez Sweat's better.
Negative.
Defensive end?
Negative.
Tell me why.
Negative. Go check the numbers. Go check the numbers on that.
You sure about that?
Definitely go check the numbers on that. Tank
Okay.
Lawrence is way better than Sweat on stopping the run. Check the numbers.
Okay. All right. Is that the difference for your defense being better than ours?
I just told you our defense better than yours,
All right.
and you about to really
you
see it
said it.
this year.
Okay.
The corners who got burnt last year was Anthony Brown.
Trevon Diggs.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Trayvon
Brandon.
Mullen, who we brought in the middle of the season. Xavier Woods, who we brought in the middle of the season, and some other corner we brought in the middle of the season. Those are the corners who got burnt.
All right, so I'm because I don't have a dog in the fight on this one, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say this about Trayvon Diggs. Let's not act like he was clamps last year. Okay, let's stop that. Okay, I ain't saying he was trash, but let's not act like he over there just he over there shutting down the whole side of the field. Because shoot, his last name for one game was Ayuk. He didn't even have let's chill on the Trayvon Diggs love here. He ain't killing the game now. So
Thank you, Kevin. I agree with Coach about that. Yes, he threw some picks. Many of those involved in wide receivers' hands. Thank you. Thank you.
Every quarterback
Okay,
throws picks that are off
okay,
receivers.
wait.
Yes.
So let me
yes.
clarify something. Kevin Cherry is a
You guys know
Cowboys
how to
fan.
take a narrative and run with it. I'm the only one who knows how to be objective.
Who's
Some of those
Lisa
picks- some of
Simpson's
those
daddy's
picks
name?
came
Did you
off
hear
of
what I
wide receivers
said?
and tight ends' hands. Some
Brandon.
of those
Simpson
picks came
played
off of tight ends'
saxophone.
hands, and you
What's
know
her
it.
daddy name?
And
Nanny?
you know it. And you know it. But you know what? Y'all go ahead and keep running with the narrative. I'm gonna stand on the mountain by myself, 10 toes
You
down. with
damn
my
sure
chest
you ain't by
out.
yourself. You
Hey,
with
son.
you with a million other delusional Cowboys fans.
You guys are biased against the Cowboys, and you know it. You know it. You know it.
Okay.
You know it.
Now look who pressed and emotional right now. But look, you know good and hell well.
Everybody wants to run with the same narrative. It's
You
Commanders
know,
fans,
because
it's Eagles
the
fans,
facts
it's
support it. That's
49ers
why.
fans. It's everybody who's anti-Dallas Cowboys. You guys all take the narrative, the same narrative, and run with it. All of y'all.
You finished? You through?
All of y'all.
You through? Are you done? Are you done?
Right. Hey, Kevin, say it again. Not a fan statement. It's true. Thank you, Kevin.
No, Kevin, you a homer too.
Thank you, Kevin.
Because 17 picks didn't bounce off the wide receiver's hand.
People,
Exactly.
This is why
17 picks did not bounce off the wide
This is why I
receiver's
don't
hand.
talk about football anymore, because everybody knows how to take the same narrative and don't know how to be objective.
Brandon.
Don't know how to be objective. Learn how to be objective, and then you come talk to me about Dallas Cowboys football.
Excuses are the tools of the incompetent used to build monuments of nothing.
Wait, you
don't talk to me about Cowboys football.
Brandon.
Until you learn how to be objective,
Brandon,
don't talk to me about Cowboys football.
You talked about the ball going off receivers' hands, right? For the Cowboys. Did you guys get worse at tight end? And like the only improvement you made in the receiving core is Brandon Cooks, who but I mean you still have most of the same guys, and you downgraded at tight end. So you're saying that Dak's 17 picks are just going to go down?
Downgrade tight end. How we downgrade tight end?
Who?
How do we downgrade a tight end? How do we downgrade a tight end? Talk to me.
How did you down?
Dak Prescott made Dalton Schultz.
Go ahead. He also made a bunch of turnovers too.
Dalton Schultz.
He also made a bunch of turnovers too.
He made Dalton Schultz.
He also made a bunch of interceptions.
And you still know how to be objective.
He also made him lose in the playoffs.
You don't know how to be objective.
You're number 2.
Learn how to be objective. Stop being biased. Stop being biased.
I'm biased because I'm telling the truth and you don't like it.
Stop being biased.
You mad? You mad right now because I'm saying facts that are true. You're talking over me right now because you don't want to hear the truth.
Come talk to me about Cowboys football.
Go eat a donut, Homer. Don't want to get the nuclear plant, Homer.
Nobody, and I mean nobody at all.
I'm gonna let you.
Nobody.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Nobody.
The more you talk, the better I look.
Nobody.
Pando, can I list off?
Nobody.
Can I list off why? Can I list off why I'm not a homer? Can I list off why I'm not a homer? Because I think that's going to help in terms of framing why I view the Cowboys the way I do. So I'm not a huge fan of Sam Howell. I don't know what we have out of him. I am against Carson Wentz throughout last offseason, throughout the regular season. Met him in person. Seems like a nice guy. But I was never fond of him as a quarterback. Reason number 2, Chase Young. Have not really been high on him. Think he's a good guy too, but haven't been high on him as a player. Rule number 3. Had the Eagles winning the division last year. Had the Eagles winning the division this year. Had Jalen Hurts. That's reason number 4. Had Jalen Hurts being an MVP type quarterback, potentially leading the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Reason number 5. Had the Giants potentially being better than the Commanders once again this year. Reason number 6. Credited Dak Prescott. I mean, I started off my talk about the Cowboys offense saying Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Reason number 7. So all this to say, I'm bringing objective facts by saying Trevon Diggs is not what Brandon makes him out to be. He's a quarterback that can get burnt. There are a lot of quarterbacks in this league that can get burnt. Trevon Diggs can cause turnovers, but this is not 2021. He's not coming off an 11 pick season. He had once again one of the worst coverage grades in all the league. Stephon Gilmore, did you not see what Terry did on him last? Did you not see what Terry did on him? Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin does that to everybody, to be fair.
Exactly. That proves my point. Like, okay, doesn't scare me.
The point is that, you know, the thing is that I'm not going to, I could be called a lot of things, but I'm not going to say you're not gonna sit up and say that I'm biased against the Cowboys. I'm not gonna take that slander because I'm just stating facts. The bottom line is the facts are on the table. It's Dak Prescott's fault that they lost in the playoffs. It's Dak Prescott's fault that they didn't have a higher seed in the playoffs to get into the playoffs because of the interception that he made. Yeah. He only started 12 games and threw 17 interceptions in those 12 games. Those are not undisputable, undeniable facts. And when I say that, that's including the playoffs. So that's 17 picks in 12 games started. 13 games. But that's bad. And we can sit up here and speculate because that's what sports shows do. We speculate and we talk about what we think, but we can only go off of based on what we've seen at the end of the day and what we think the new guys are going to do. So it's true. I don't like the Cowboys, but I'm not going to sit up and tell a lie. Y'all know that. If you say a fact, that's a fact. I'm going to be like, yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, it's Dak Prescott's fault that they lost in the playoffs. And any sensible Cowboy fan is going to agree with that. Any sensible Cowboy fan is not going to make up the lame excuse of they bounced off the wire. 17 picks bounced off the wide receiver's hands. 17? 17?
I didn't say 17. That's
no.
I didn't say 17. I said 17. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. See, you got to listen.
Okay. It's an excuse. Okay.
Okay, so let me ask you.
Excuses is like buttholes. Everybody got one and they all stink.
Let me ask you a question. If Trey Lance throws 23 interceptions and half of those bounce off.
Oh, there he go.
And 23 bounce off the and half of those 23 bounce off.
I'm gonna say he threw 23 interceptions.
You ain't gonna blame it on Trey Lance. You're gonna blame it on the receivers. And
that's what Cowboy fans do. They want to go after somebody else's team when we get in their ass. That's the thing. See, that's what Cowboy fans do. Don't be that guy, Brandon. You better than that. You're so much better than that, Brandon. Don't be that guy. I have to deal with that every day. I live in Texas. I deal with ignorant Cowboy fans every day. You are so much better than that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Stop making excuses. Admit that Dak Prescott was the reason why that the Dallas Cowboys did not have the success they should have had with that incredible defense, which I started off with when I started talking about it. I said that defense is great. That defense is great. But it doesn't matter if your quarterback's turning over the ball on an average of twice a game. And then also, we don't know what Tony Pollard's going to be as the bell cow back. I didn't even bring that up. He could be fantastic, but we don't know yet. Now, I do know they drafted a guy. They may go with the platoon and the running backs. We'll see. But at the end of the day, don't sit up here and make excuses for Dak Prescott. Do not do that. That's what Homer fans do. Don't do that. You better than that. You better than that, man.
Going to the running back situation, I will say this. I think they will go more so into a platoon of running backs because Pollard is not Zeke as far as prime Zeke as far as being the bell cow running back.
I agree.
I think Pollard will get 17 to 20 touches, not so much carries, but 17 to 20 touches. And I think guys like Deuce Vaughn and whoever running back 3 is will get some touches as well.
Now
I will say that.
I'm gonna say this head to head, unless they did pick up the Carter kid. I will say that he's stout in the middle. One of the Eagles' biggest issues was last year was stopping the run.
It was. It really was. And let me say
Carter.
Let me say this about the Eagles too. I think the reason why Philadelphia also won a lot of those games was, yes, they got a lot of sacks because they were 3rd of all time in team sacks. However, I don't see that duplicator.
Yeah, added Jalen Carter, arguably the best player.
I understand. I understand. Do you know how hard it is to sit there and duplicate something like that?
I'm gonna say this, Natty. And like I said, I'm being unbiased here because, like I said, I hate you all. I hate the whole NFC East. But I'm gonna go back to what I was saying before. He's still a rookie.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
and that's why. And that's why.
What did Michael Parsons do as a rookie?
I really haven't mentioned.
And what did Nick Bosa do as a rookie? But again, until they do something, we can't put a what's the word? We can't really put. We have expectations, sure, but we can't positively put a picture on their productivity because we have guys that have gotten drafted high and they've completely busted.
That's
But
true.
usually the guys that we say are the best, at least on the defensive line, that are the best players in the draft going into the process, right? Like a Jalen Carter, even like a Chase Young, like a Nick Bosa, like a Michael Parsons, like these players at least have good rookie seasons. Like
Well,
they're actually
hold on. Now, hold on. I hear you. I hear you on defensive line, and I hear you about all those guys that you just mentioned. Here's the thing: not every single rookie defensive lineman drafted in round 1 has been fantastic either.
I'll give you a prime example. I'm finna go ham on my team.
No,
Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah.
Bruh.
But Javon Kinlaw was never thought of as
God.
the best.
Eric, let me take you back. You remember Damian Lewis?
Yeah.
Drafted by the Rams? What did he do?
Squat.
Exactly. You remember Ezekiel Ansah for the Lions didn't do much of anything as a first round pick for the Lions.
He became a journeyman basically his whole career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's not a guarantee. First round picks, as much as we want to think that they're gonna be a guarantee, they're not always a guaranteed either.
And I'll say that about every single rookie, including the ones that play for my team. They rookies. Now, and they come out there and they prove that, okay, he did what he's supposed to do. That's fantastic. Then you got the guys that's undrafted, 7th rounders, 6th rounders, and they play out of their freaking mind. You like, where did this kid come from? So it's a crapshoot. That's why I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy came from this program. He came from this conference, and he did this and whoop-de-whoop and this, that, and the third, and get in the league and completely crap the bed where you got to burn the sheets, the mattresses, and the bed frame. So, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens, man. I'm not saying that he's not going to be that. I'm not. Please understand that. But we gonna see he could go out there and kill everybody. They might press charges on him. That could happen. He could. He might go out there and kill every running back on the field. They like, well, Jalen Carter's back in jail again. He killed 3 running backs last week. No. It could happen.
All right.
But at the same time, he could go out there and completely crap the bed.
Yep.
That's why I say he's a rookie. I always pump my brakes on rookies until they start playing.
All right. So, guys, that was a great conversation on NFC East Talk. Next week we will cover. I'm not even sure yet.
We're going north, ain't we?
Yeah. Okay. We're going north. That's fine. Let's do AFC North. Nati, go. I know you got to go. Go ahead and plug your channel, man. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. DMV Sports Zone on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. It's been a little inactive. It's my fault. School, work, everything. But hoping to get more active as the month goes along and stuff. But yeah, appreciate you guys for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Of
Brandon,
course, man.
I know you got to defend your team, but still, I appreciate the conversation.
Oh yeah, of course. Hey, and by the way, guys, all his channels and stuff, social media accounts is in the description below.
Appreciate that.
You guys can find it there. Like I said, it covers the Commanders, the Nationals, the Wizards, the Capitals. So anything Washington D.C. All right.
Right. Appreciate you.
Hey, if the Commanders make the playoffs, man, we got to have Natty back.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, and guess what? If we have Nati back, if the Commanders make the playoffs, we're gonna have Nati back, and we're gonna have somebody else. Nati knows who I'm talking about, but I'm not gonna say it on the show yet.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I'm trying to get another Commanders fan on here too. If the Commanders make the playoffs, I'm gonna have 2 Commander fans on here.
Okay. All right. I'll hold you to that.
Well, I'm gonna try to get them both on here. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
so
he should be down. He should be down.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
But we'll talk.
All right.
Thank
you guys. Appreciate
it. All right, man. Peace out. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we thank Natty for coming on to our show. DMV Sports Zone on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. All right. So as we wrap up the show this week, we go to AFC North next week. We don't have a guest yet, but if you would like to, if you're favorite team is in the AFC North, whether Cincinnati, Cleveland, Baltimore, or Pittsburgh, holler at us. Holler at us, and we can we'll talk to you and see if we would like to have you on our show. Also for future divisions, because we still got to cover the NFC North as well, the AFC West, and the NFC West. So please join our show if you'd like to be on here. Talk to us, okay?
DM us on any of our platforms to let us know you want to be on the show, and we'll get the ball rolling.
Yes. So we are live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and for the first time on Twitch. I don't know if I said that in the beginning of the show. If I didn't, my apologies. We are on Twitch for the very first time, and we are live on Twitch right now, okay? You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also listen to us on Google, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. That direction, Panel 316, the defensive minded, Austin 316 talking football.
I'm going to have some beer.
Well, hey, I don't blame you because you ain't got to go to work tomorrow.
Nope.
Yeah, man, I got 2 more weeks of this stuff, man. So, but it's all good. Coach Williams, the quarter host, NFL Encyclopedia, and Wildcat quarterback that runs this thing. And on behalf of our quarterback that runs this thing, Tristan, and
Steve made me not promise not to make no more jokes, so I'm gonna be quiet. Steve not here. Steve, we need you back on the show, man. I kept my promise. I gonna make no jokes.
Hey, Steve, man, we definitely miss you being on the show, man. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, good night.